So, um, my self-care project um, has been going fairly well. Um, Better than has. It's gone better than it hasn't gone, if that makes sense. It could be a lot worse, uh, especially compared to where I have been. Um, my biggest things with my self-care project is balancing the time and actually having the discipline to do it. So with my self care project, I would like to be able to, have meditate the same times each day, preferably in the morning and the afternoon. Um, get a good workout in, at least an hour a day, either here at the house or at the gym. Uh, Continue to disconnect further from my phone, which I have been doing quite well. Um, there was a time a couple weeks ago where I completely turned off my phone and computer and everything for 24 hours and just kind of meditated and fasted all day and night, which was very nice. I plan on doing that at least once a month. Um, I've also gotten to where I will plug my phone in on the other side of my room and go to bed without my phone nearby. I'll set my alarm, and my goal with that was to be able to get up out of bed when my alarm goes off and go straight on my day, and wake up early, get no more than 8 to 9 hours of sleep at night. Um, but that has largely not happened. I usually just get up and grab my phone and take it right back to bed with me and hit snooze a few more times. So finding the motivation and the discipline to do these things, at the same time every day or whatever, it has been my biggest struggle. Uh, and I feel like I'm getting better. With all that, I feel like that's going to come with time. I do start physical therapy because, again, I mentioned, I am fighting some physical health issues. I'm hoping that structured time will will, will lapse into my other self care stuff. I can kind of plan my time around that, and it's difficult for me. Time management is very difficult for me. So that's one reason why I can't work full time during this program. Um, and another thing that's been kind of an obstacle as far as my self care plan goes, and doing these things every day at the same time is I um, I have been staying with my parents a little bit longer, more days. My brother's been in town, so we're kind of just staying with them, and my independency is lacking a little bit with that. But that's also a good thing because my parents are very helpful in my own recovery of substance abuse. Um, they're also triggers, but the triggering has gone largely it has largely disappeared, and now they're mostly just helpful. And of course, I had to work through that myself to realize, okay, the triggers are not worth the the benefit that I'm getting from them, and triggers are just something that I'm identifying with anyway. I've been reading a lot more these past few weeks where I've been trying to disconnect more from my phone. So I've been reading a lot of self-help, psychology kind of books, and I realized one thing that with triggers, um, if I'm sitting somewhere and I hear something or I see something or I read something or whatever, and it triggers me to where I want to drink or smoke or you know go to the bar, or whatever. I think, why is this triggering me? This is just a song. This is just these are just words. These are just a feeling. It's just a feeling. It's just a it will pass. This too shall pass. And I'm identifying something with this external stimuli. I'm identifying with it. Why am I identifying with it? I don't need to. It is what it is. I don't have to put anything with it. And I think that that was an extremely important breakthrough for me. I intellectually knew that before, but I didn't really put it together until very recently. Um, so I'm hoping to even over our break, I'm hoping to dive deeper into it. Now, um, something that you had mentioned in the lecture was it was a program called Moderation Management, and that's something I'm going to look into because I've done Alcoholics Anonymous and Celebrate Recovery and all these things, and I don't know if I necessarily want to cut alcohol completely out of my life. Uh, I like to be in a position where I can go out and with friends or whatever and have a drink or two and be perfectly fine. And I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like I am there, honestly, for the most part. But I also know that it's a slippery slope. So having a something like this moderation management um, could be helpful. So that's something I'm going to look into. That I'm going to further along in my self care plan. Right now, I'm not drinking. I haven't drinking over 3 weeks, and even then, it was one drink. So start different from where I was this time last year. Um, so um, I'm hoping that eventually I will be able to commit to a specific practice. Um, every day I'm kind of bouncing around different modalities of yoga and meditation, working out and stuff, and I'd like to kind of condense that down a little bit into some specific things. So I feel like it's gonna come. It's coming. I'm just gotta be patient. So yeah, I think we're good.